Glad to see you again. Well, I am back. My name is Jariland Spence, and I am at the Prayer Center at 821.5 West Broadway, bringing hope to the North Side. Let's hear it for the North Side. No matter what, the North Side is a survivor. You know, so we still going to survive. We still going to make it. Yeah, we have our issues and we have our downfalls and all of that. But you know what? If we band together and start supporting one another, and start being there for one another, and guess what? Even just start listening to one another, I believe, I know we can make a change. So welcome once again. This is my 33rd show, and it's getting better and better. Well, if you've seen any of the other shows, you know that I'm always grateful to talk to, especially young men who've changed their lives. And I guarantee you this show is going to be one that's another great show like my other shows, because I have a young man here who's changed. He's went through a period of transformation in his life from the North Side, and as you know, the North Side has had its issues of murders and killings and ganging and thugging and prostituting and all of that. But I just refuse to believe that that's the way it has to be, because that's the way it's been. But it's going to take men like this young man here, making up in their mind that they're willing to do something different, that they want a better life. So thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be talking to Mr. Briscoe here. I'll let him introduce himself in a minute, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for the North Side. And you know, one of the things I always say is that there is no Calvary coming to save North Minneapolis. We are the saviors. We are the Calvary in North Minneapolis. So if you are not satisfied with the status quo, do something different. Become a better person. It's in all of us to do better. And guess what? When we learn better, we do better. So I'm going to go in depth with this young man, and he's agreed to be open and honest and talk about where he was. But we're going to end on where he is. The thing that will help us, if we can be honest with ourselves and not ashamed. Because I guarantee you, I've done things in my past that I wouldn't want you to know now. But I'm willing to talk about that stuff because I'm not that person anymore. So we just want to, you know, start out at the bottom, but I guarantee you we're going to end up on the top. All right? All right. What's your name, sir?
My name is Albert Briscoe.
Albert Briscoe. What's your street name?
They call me B-Lo.
B-Lo. We got B-Lo here on the scene with us. B-Lo, you know, it was not by accident that I met you. Seemingly, it was an accident, but once we started talking, we realized, you know, that we're both from the North Side. We know a lot of the same people. But I was inspired by your flyer here, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But I was inspired to just pick up and wonder, I wonder what's his story. You know, and then when I called you, and you sounded so professional, and you sounded like you're about something, I'm like, wow, that's what we need, more black men like that. So I was encouraged just hearing the little bit of your story that I did. And the fact that you've taken the time to put it in a book form, you know, that tells me, you know, you're going somewhere. You're going to be one of those leaders that we need in North Minneapolis. It's my belief that you were born to be a leader. And that's what we need. We need young men like you to reach back to our little shorties out here with these wannabe baby gangs, just toddlers with guns. So if nothing else comes out of this show, but if you reach one little young man that I don't have to see in the prison, that I don't have to see in jail, this will be worth it for me. Because you know what? It hurts my heart as a mother when I see the young ones in jail. And they're getting 10 years, 15 years. For what? For nothing. They are looking for a cause. But the cause that they're working on right now, we're going to find out in your story. The only end to that cause is death or prison. And in fact, each one of those is a form of death, because death is not always physical. So sit back, pay attention. I'm going to question this young man. I'm just going to let him have his say. and whatever message that he wants to get out, that's what we're going to end with. So, Albert Briscoe, better known as B-Lo.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my first question is, how many felonies do you have?
I leave 11.
Okay, 11 felonies. How much time you did in prison?
I've done 10 years in prison in installments.
In installments. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. That means you got out, stayed out for a minute, and then went back in.
Correct. It's actually what the correct term for would be recidivism.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a statistic of the recidivism factor. I've actually been in and out of prison 6 times.
6 times, and you're 33?
33, yes, ma'am.
Now, B-Lo, help me out now. When you got out the first time, well, no, the first time you went into prison, was it like you thought it was going to be?
Actually, it wasn't. I had more of an ideal, a stereotypical. I had more of an impression from the media, you know, from hearsay about what prison was about. Actually, when I went into prison, the first thing I did was I found somebody who I thought could give me something that I needed. That was a pocket knife, because I wasn't in Minnesota. I was in a foreign state. I didn't think I was gonna know anybody when I got in there. But actually, when I got behind the walls, I seen that it was more people that I thought
you knew.
Yeah, that I knew.
And even though you were in different states, you saw people that you knew from here.
From here and from the streets in Tennessee, where I was at.
So you thought you needed a pocket knife.
Exactly.
What did you need a pocket knife for, B-Lo?
For protection. Because for one, I really didn't affiliate myself with the organizations that were there, because it was my first time. And I didn't know any of the people, well, I didn't think I did, know any of the people that had it established back there with the organizations that I was affiliated with, or the people that I knew from those organizations. So the first rule of nature is self-preservation. Alright, so that's what I was doing. I was on a mission to preserve my life, because I thought prison was a dangerous place. But I come to find out after being there for a while that prison is just a place that you make it. You know, prison is just a building. You know, the prisoners create the environment. It can be an environment where it's a battleground. You know, that's the image that most people have about prison. But on the other hand, if brothers are in there striving, it could be an institute of learning, because it's opportunity to continue your education, to educate yourself, to enhance your intelligence. You just have to want that.
Okay.
That's one of the things when I came to prison that had me kind of baffled at first, is what to expect. So I didn't know what to expect, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to be all right.
Okay, now, you're comfortable with talking about what led you up to prison?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay. Because you just strike me as a intelligent brother. So whenever I meet intelligent brothers who obviously got smarts, I'm always interested in knowing what led them down that path. And we talked a little bit in the pre-interview about some things, but for my audience, we want to go back there. Do you remember your first crime? Well, how old were you?
Well, that might be pretty hard to recall. I can remember my first arrest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was 13 years old. I was arrested and sent to a juvenile facility.
Because were you rebellious in school? Had you dropped out of school? What were you doing at the age of 13?
I had actually dropped out of school at that time, at 13.
And you dropped out because?
Because school wasn't interesting to me. The streets were more interesting to me than school was. School wasn't, it didn't seem promising to me. School couldn't provide the things that I thought I needed, you know, at the time. And I think it just came from the desire of immediate, instant gratification. Not having any patience, or not even having vision to see what a struggle, or just persevering, or being persistent in school, what the outcome would be.
That wasn't quick enough.
It wasn't quick enough.
Okay. What was your family situation? Two-parent family, one parent?
Well, I grew up in a broken home, in a sense, to where my parents weren't together. My father he's been around. My mother raised me most of the time, as far as having somewhere to live where I stayed. And I had a two-parent household, or at the time staying with my mother, but I was in a state of rebellion, to where I didn't accept her spouse, her husband, and it kind of, I think it kind of brought on some of the behavior problems in me as well, But I came up in a two-parent household, I would say, but we were struggling though. My mom kept two jobs. Her husband was struggling with what he was aspiring to do, and it was a tense situation for me, because I was seeing other kids and other people with things that I thought I should have, and that weren't accessible to me. So I wanted to find a means to obtain those things, and school wasn't it.
Okay. So then, let me assume you probably started selling drugs?
Yes, ma'am. At the age of 13.
At the age of 13, started selling drugs. And at that time, that looked better to you than getting a high school education.
I couldn't even see that far. At that time, I didn't even know anyone that was enthusiastic about school. School wasn't cool.
Right. Okay. Okay. And that's one of the myths that we want to debug. We want to, school. The way it's not cool. If you know how to use the proper language, it's not cool. Just hanging out with people who are book smarts and all of that. But if you want to have the best in life, you've got to be willing to be a reader. All great leaders are readers. When you learn how to read, you can take yourself from an environment mentally. Though your body may be in the ghetto or in the project, but your mind can go all around the world. And that is, for my own self, that is one of the things that propelled me to become a leader, activist, so to speak, is because I didn't like my environment, but my mind was never there. Because I knew somehow there was something better than where I was living. Okay, so 13, you started selling drugs. Did your parents know that you were selling drugs?
Not initially, but it wasn't something that I hid. I don't believe, because I kind of I looked at my parents as guidance and as teachers, and we kind of had an open household. And so when I was introduced to drugs, I already knew that my father was involved in drugs. I knew that my mom was from the projects. So I knew that it wasn't something that was foreign to them. I kind of looked at them as being partners to me, in a sense. Not that they were helping me or affiliated with my drug affiliation or association, but in the sense that we were struggling together. And I always had a want to help my mother, because I seen her working two jobs. So if I could help out, I wanted to. And, I was subjected to situations where I may come home from school and the lights might be off. And it wasn't because my mom was smoking crack or
just trying to make it.
Just trying to make it. We were struggling.
Did you have a sense that as a male that you needed to somehow step up and help out, even though it was done